Cheers, guys, and welcome to Uncle Scott's Pancast. In the old Pancast today, we got some big news out of Falk Copper. We're joined by Mabel. She is doing well. Can you say hi? We're also going to talk some Staub, some Lodge, some OVL, some pan thermometers, and more. Let's jump in and get started. Very first thing here at the top is good old Uncle Scott here is going to be the first ever affiliate partner with Falk. Falk Copper Cookware. I've been using it for about 2 years now. Big fan of it. I have recommended it over several videos. And I talked to them, and they didn't have an affiliate program, and I asked them if they'd like to get one started, and it turns out they would. So welcome aboard to Falk, and it's actually kind of an honor for me, just kind of being a enthusiastic home cook, but a home cook nonetheless. I am the first affiliate partner for Demeyere, and now the first affiliate partner ever for Falk. So that is some pretty good company to be in. And if you'll excuse me for one moment. Very proud to have Falk on board. Now, I'm going to start including affiliate links in some of the Falk videos I've done, and there will be one down below. And it just so happens they are starting a 4th of July sale with 20% off some of the, I believe, the fry pans and saute pans. Now, I also think it's helpful to mention around here the way I choose affiliate partners. Lots of times on YouTube and other video outlets, you'll see a host come on and say, I'm reviewing this product, so-and-so sent me this for free, but my opinions are my own. Are they really? Bless you. I don't take anything for free, and the way it happened with Demeyere several years ago, I bought several of their pans with my own money. I reviewed them, and I had been using them and recommending them for over a year before I ever even talked to Demeyere about any type of affiliate program. And it's the same way with Falk. I bought this pan about 2 years ago now, and it quickly became the most used pan in my kitchen. Bought all this stuff with my own money. These are some of my other Falks, and I've probably spent close to, over a couple of years, close to $1,000 of my own money on Falk cookware, and I've even bought some for my mom. And I kind of got the Uncle Scott's version of the golden rule. Golden rule, obviously, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I've kind of got Uncle Scott's copper pan, cast iron, and carbon steel rule, and that is never recommend a piece of cookware to someone if you wouldn't buy it with your own money for yourself. And that is the same way with these Falks. I bought them, and you notice that's a patina. They are no longer shiny and new looking. These actually get used a lot in my kitchen, and I am happy to recommend these to you guys because I like them myself. So welcome aboard to Falk, and look for that 20% off sale and use that affiliate link below. Yay! Next up, let's talk a little Staub enamel cast iron. I am almost done with the review on this guy. I may do 1 or 2 more cooking tests. I call them tests. I'm actually just fixing dinner in this guy. And what I want to do here is first show a little short video of something I cooked. This is some kale, black kale, cavolo nero, if you speak a little Italian, along with some white beans and tomatoes. And the first thing with the kale, I know kale is pretty bitter. I don't like it raw. I don't like it in salads, but when I cook ribollita, I put that black kale in there and it kind of softens up. and some of the bitterness goes away. Here with this white beans, kale, and tomatoes appetizer, it also kind of softens up. Now, I didn't use a lid on the stove pan, but after cooking that kale for 3 to 4 minutes or so, hi! It did soften up and kind of take some of the edge off of that kale. One thing I like about the enameled cast iron is I just put tomatoes in there and I didn't worry about it. If that were carbon steel, and I love carbon steel, or cast iron, I love my cast iron, regular cast iron, I'd be a little bit hesitant with the tomatoes, and especially anything that had any type of vinegar. Yeah, vinegar. And that brings up a point. I've been kind of seeding some content about the stove to kind of goose up demand for that review. If you're interested, make sure you are subscribed so you see that review when it comes out. And I got a comment, or actually a question from someone called Page 2, and it's not the number 2, it's TOO, and asking about the stove and asking if it's enameled. And they say that they have a stove and have been struggling a bit. I know, struggling. Can you imagine that? Struggling with a stove? My gosh. And they're saying it was a little bit more or less non-stick than they thought it would be. Can you imagine that? Food sticking. I cannot imagine that. Hi. You want to look at those lights? Look at the lights. Oh. And I think the deal here is that the enameled cast iron, I don't think is ever going to be as non-stick as regular uncoated cast iron. And the reason for that is that with the traditional cast iron uncoated, you build up a seasoning over time and it gets more and more non-stick the more you use it. Whereas the enameled cast iron is going to pretty much remain the same. So as far as non-stick properties, I would go with the regular versus enameled if you're looking for more non-stick in your cast iron. Can you believe that? Now with the enameled cast iron, I am still able to get non-stick cooking results. I can get my food to not stick. It's just that it takes a little more finagling. There's a little bit more of a learning curve. And that's the way I felt after I stuck some hash browns. Oh no. But you can get non-stick cooking if you bring your A game with your enameled cast iron. Costco salmon. Bought some salmon the other day at Costco. Wife is nursing and I wanted to make sure she got some fish and some nutrition in there. And honestly, I don't think they gave me enough butter. Speaking of butter, I got a comment that says butter makes everything better. Now we all know that. What I found interesting on this comment is that the screen name of the person that sent it in was bacon_fat. So bacon fat has come out in favor of butter. See, I'm gonna call some people out, and you know who you are. You're the people out there that do videos about 3 knives. I see print articles, I see articles on cooking websites. I am bombarded by videos when I sign on to YouTube with videos. There's always some version of, here are the only 3 knives you need in your kitchen. Horse hooey, I call you all out. Anyone who has ever done that video or written that article has a ton of kitchen knives. You're into cookware, you love cooking, you got a ton of knives, and just admit it. Just admit you love kitchen knives and you have a ton more than 3. I don't know a single person in the real world who does any cooking that only has 3 kitchen knives. At least Chef Jacques Pepin was honest about it. He had a version of that video about the 3 knives you need. In there, he said, well, these are the 3 you need. But in actuality, he really had about 300. I aspire to have 300. What about you? Huh? 200? 100? Oh! Okay. Let's talk a little bit about infrared temperature guns. I like these things. They're kind of point and click, point and shoot, and you get a pretty much instantaneous read on the temperature of a surface, in my case, a frying pan. I also have a surface probe thermometer. You okay? And this also has its place. What I found with this infrared thermometer the other day is that I was preheating this Moviel, I think it's an M Steel or an M Cook stainless steel pan. And I had it on a burner, and I was periodically checking it with the infrared gun, and it was reading about 200, 212, 220 degrees, and I didn't think anything about it. Then I noticed a wisp of smoke coming from that pan, and that seemed odd. I didn't have any oil in the pan. Hey, look at those lights. I did not have any oil in the pan, so I poured some oil in the pan and took another reading, and it read about 420 degrees instantaneously. Now, the pan did not heat up when I put the oil in. The problem was the emissivity, and I hate to get out into the wade out onto the thin ice of science here, but these infrared thermometer guns, the readings you get will change based on the shininess, essentially, of the metal for which you're trying to take the temperature. And that shiny stainless steel, I must not have had the emissivity set correctly for stainless steel, and it gave me an incorrect reading. So these things, they work great as long as you have them dialed in correctly. I also like the Surface Probe thermometer, because it takes temperatures based on touch in specific locations, but nothing is ever perfect. And the moral of the story here is, if you use an infrared temperature gun, double check that your settings are correct, and also give it the old real world test. If something says it's not hot, but it's smoking, it's probably actually pretty hot. Yeah. I've gotten several emails in the past week or so about the cost of cookware and stuff. Sometimes I review some fairly high-end stuff around here, and lots of people are saying they don't think it's worth it. Those are valid comments. After all, if you've got, I think this 10-inch Lodge costs $20 or so. If you've got a $20 Lodge and are getting great performance out of it, there may be no reason to upgrade to a fancy Staub. And I shouldn't use the word upgrade. It's just different. The list for $200. Is it 10 times better? Probably not. However, we live in an age of hyperinflation. I cooked some steaks the other day, or a steak the other day, for the Staub review, and check this out. About 28 bucks a pound for a steak. So if you look at a pan like this, I think I paid around $100 for it. Really, that's only the same price as 3 or 4 nice steaks, and it should last me hopefully 20 or 30 years, assuming I last 20 or 30 years. So it all depends on how you look at it. The high-end stuff, definitely not in the value or performance for the money category. However, if you're into cooking and cookware on a relative basis, especially if you're going to keep it for years and years, I think it can be a bargain, even though it costs a lot of money. Let's see, Cat Kit 537 wrote in, and she got one of those new compact versions of that T-Fal Easy Clean deep fryer that we like so much around here. And she has a question. She's wondering if the oil box on that deep fryer, because you do have the oil storage in that fryer, is it secure against insects getting into it? Here, I don't have insects in my house, so I can't say 100%. I see the occasional spider, but as far as bugs getting into food, I don't have any trouble with that. I cannot imagine any bugs getting into that oil storage box, and I think if a bug were to get into a kitchen, I don't think it would go for the oil storage. I think it would go for the cereal or the fruit or the bread that's been left out, things like that. So I am not worried at all about insects with that T-Fal Easy Clean deep fryer. Let's see, Knife Sharpening Norway wrote in with a shout out for Demeyere. Stainless steel, he says he thinks the best stainless steel will always be Demeyere Proline, and there's nothing that compares to it in stainless quality. I'm going to second that. I don't argue with that at all. I did a review of that big Demeyere ProLine Atlantis, the 12.6 centimeter or 12.6 inch 32 centimeter version. And that was a fantastic frying pan, very thick. And I think it probably is at the very top of that aluminum core. I'm not even drinking. This is iced tea these days. Aluminum core stainless steel frying pan category. I think the Demeyere is at the top of that. I will point out, however, that it is also at the top of the price range for that category as well. So that pan, I believe it was $325, and you'll see those online for $320 to maybe up to $350. If that is your budget for a stainless steel frying pan, I think the Demeyere is a fantastic choice. If your budget is somewhere around that $250 range, you can't get the Demeyere for that. But in that price range, there is a lot of competition, and there are some great pans also in that $250 range. I like the all-clad copper core, the Demeyere Affinity. There's some Moviels that I like. A lot of competition in that little bit lower price category. Now I want to do a little shrinkflation update, and I want to do a little comparison between Watkins popcorn seasoning, the butter, salt. I make a lot of popcorn around here, and I like this Watkins stuff. I actually have some of the white cheese, very good, and this Kernel Seasons cheesy jalapeno, which I like, but this one is annoying me, and I'm going to show you why here in real time. Brand new, and opening it now on camera. And let me get this camera up. Let's take a look. The seasoning level comes up to about right here. And I've had these Kernel Seasons before where it's actually only about half full, it seems. I know what they would say, that the product settles a little bit during shipping. Why didn't this Watkins settle? This is in a glass jar, and you can see exactly how much is in there, and it's filled up to the top. So this one I have not yet opened either, still sealed, and it's filled up to the top. I like that, so a little bit of praise and shout out for Watkins, and a little bit of shame on Kernel Seasons. A little bit of settling, I think we can all tolerate. 5%, 10%, maybe when it gets up to 15% empty, start to kind of raise the old eyebrows. When it gets down to 25% empty, I think maybe they could do a little bit better job, and it's no surprise to me that it's not in a clear container, because you can't actually tell from looking at it how much is in there. Okay, we got a big holiday weekend coming up next weekend. I think down below I am going to link up some of the recipes I have around here that are really good sides for picnics and barbecues. We've got a bean salad recipe, 3-bean salad that my mom used to make. I've added a 4th bean, so it's 4-bean, 3-bean salad. Some southern potato salad, really good one there. Some brown rice. One baked beans recipe that my mom used to use. A second one called Roosevelt or Yellowstone baked beans. I actually got an email about that one this week. Kathleen Jackson, Y2M, wrote in and said that that recipe is delicious, and I second that. It's an awesome recipe. A couple of months ago, I happened to have made it, and my neighbor stopped by, and he ended up eating 3 bowls of it, and I gave him the recipe, and now he makes it all the time. Okay, make sure you check out those recipe links below. Also, that Falk 20% off sale for their 4th of July sale, which has already started. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time on Uncle Scott's Pancast.